Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 517. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Wednesday, the
27th.
thank you of
That's
January.
when I said okay the fifth time. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, so it's the last recording in January of
Ooh, that is true.
2021. We've got Patreon events tomorrow and Sunday.
Do you want to see my Patreon of it? It
It
came.
is the most true. This is the first time where I'm like, I'm doing something else. I'm not doing the same thing.
I am so excited. It is a Play-Doh sheep and it grows wool, not real wool, but Play-Doh wool, which then you can use little like flowers and decorate it. That's what that's meant to model. And there's a little baby sheep and there's a little sweater cut out.
Yeah, it's like a cookie cutter that you can then shape into a sweater.
Yes. All these things, and then there you can shear your sheep. All these things are very exciting to me.
Yeah, they were less exciting to me, so I'm going to sew a furry llama pillow.
Oh, that's also exciting.
Yeah. It's one of those random little kits I got from Michael's a while back. So
Nice. So we're having a farm animal extravaganza.
Yep, so those are for our Patreon supporters. Patreon is
Watch us do those things.
yeah. Patreon is a way for you to support your favorite makers. You can go to patreon.com and you can search for all sorts of different, I mean, not just podcasters, there are singer-songwriters, there are like business entrepreneurs, there's what?
People doing anti-racism work.
Oh yeah, some fantastic anti-racism work. There's writers. I mean, it's just full of great people to support. So
That's true.
for our patrons, we once a month do something new and make a fool of ourselves. And we also do a monthly just sort of knit night with everybody.
Yeah.
So
that's on Sunday.
it's always the last Sunday of the month.
Yep. So all fun things. I'm excited.
That is not what I was supposed to do there. No problem. I can fix it.
You have the power.
This is what happens when we start recording and I'm in the middle of a row. I start doing something I'm not supposed to.
Oh.
So really, it's your fault. I want to
mean,
make sure that was clear.
That and my Chipotle driver not getting here for 15 extra minutes because her GPS got her lost. Those two things, my fault today.
100%. So what have you been working on?
So I picked back up this cow. I said her name and oh, now she left.
She's ascertained there are no treats involved, and so she's outie.
I mean, yeah. So remember how I started way back in like April or March, the a cow that was knitting around, and I was knitting this out of Sealy McWheely, and this set, yeah. So this set down here, like this colorful fallish color, that
was a Hitchhiker's Guide color.
Yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy set, and then this blue is by someone who's no longer in business, and it was based on Neil Gaiman's Stardust. So I'm just doing like whatever I feel like. So this is a big block of color from the mini skein, and I actually just might knit this blue round and round and round, and then just do all the mini skeins together at the end and just have a giant in the round cowl. And I have no idea about any of the details on this. Oh, but I can use my caliper. Yes. Have I spoken to y'all about the wonders of a caliper yet?
Not on the podcast.
So, I know, right? So this is a digital caliper. I stole it from Leslie's husband. And these are square needles, and you can measure your needles. This is 3 millimeter with this handy dandy device, and it's kind of like an easier way to measure your needles and more accurate than.
So does it show on that digital display your millimeter?
Yeah, it does. So yep. You can see I've been playing, like when I slide it back and forth, it changes. So yeah, it shows on the little display. So this is saying actually like 2.9. So I'm saying it's 3.
Yeah.
There's 3. All right. So yeah, so it's a easier way than me trying to stick things in holes and figure out, is this size right? Is this size right? Is this size right? So that, because that's, and then, you're like, I feel like this is in between sizes because
Mm-hmm.
not all needles are the same. So yeah, it is a nice, easy way of measuring. And like any tool, according to Michael Leslie's husband, you can spend a little bit amount of money on it. I think this one was like around $25, or you can spend a lot of money on it. They go up to like $200.
I mean, the
So,
same thing is true of knitting needles. Like you can
oh,
spend
absolutely.
$1 on a set of, very inexpensive bamboo needles, or depending on your preference, you can spend a lot of money for very fancy, sharp, pointy,
Gold plated.
yeah. Like whatever you want to spend, there's a product out there for you.
Yeah. So if I was doing something where I needed extremely precise measurements, like 3D printing, for example, then that's why your husband told me he got 2 new sets of calipers. Uh, just so you know.
I mean, I can't give him crap about any of
Yeah.
his tools because
No.
I'm sitting in the middle of, I don't know how much in regards to cost when it comes to tools. So,
Yeah. So he got some new ones for 3D printing, and I don't know, he could use them to measure toads. I don't know.
I mean, probably, sure.
All these things that could be measured for all the
Oh,
measuring.
things that I'm going to get him to make for me that are brilliant. Hang
Oh, I
on,
want to see.
right here on my sewing machine. I've got it. Somewhere. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, so for people that do a lot of sewing or quilting, this is probably not super new to them, but I
It's new
had
to me.
these little bobbin minder things. So when you use a sewing machine, you have your spool of thread that goes on top, which goes through your needle, and you've got your bobbin, which this thread goes through your comes up from the bottom usually, and they don't have to always match. It just depends on what you're doing, but to keep them together, like for white, I have, a dozen white spools pre-threaded. But
Okay.
for your fancier colors, once you wind some onto a bobbin, you don't want to lose that bobbin. So there are different options for how to keep them together. You could
Okay.
just like string a rubber band through the hole and through this and keep them together. I mean, there's,
Okay.
again, as much as you want to spend, there's an option out there.
Yeah.
There's also these little inexpensive bobbin buddy things,
Look at
like a
those.
prong thing that you stick in the spool in the bobbin, or the spool, and then you put your bobbin on top, which is fine, except the bobbin doesn't stay there. It's very loose and comes off very easy. But Mama Luneman gave me some of these, uh, and they're called, I think, bobbin buddies.
That sounds right. I
Um,
feel like I've heard her discuss that before.
yeah, I think it's bobbin buddy. Oh yeah, here we go. And I mean, they're pretty inexpensive. I think you can get a set of like a dozen for $5 or $6, but they're just like this little bendy thing.
Okay.
And you put your, and then you put your thing in here, and it's got a
Oh,
nice,
look
like,
at that.
firm, nothing's
Yeah.
not going anywhere. But
Shake
yeah,
it, baby. Shake it.
these can be 3D printed
Oh,
very
cool.
easily because they're just, a piece of plastic basically.
You should
So
get some for, you should print some for Mama Linneman too.
yeah,
I bet you would like
I'm
that.
gonna like test drive them first because they haven't been
Yeah.
printed yet. This is one of the actual ones that got sent, but um, yeah. So that's if you are a 3D printer or you have someone in your life or access to a 3D printer, that's a cool thing that you can print pretty cheaply.
Oh, I have other things to show.
Oh, you mean my working on? Damn.
Yeah, your whole sound just went out for a long extended period. Just FYI. I don't, it's probably on my end.
Do you ever get those times where you just want to you just you don't want to talk, you just want to bang your head against something solid until you pass out? Like, yeah. No, it's probably on my end because these Bose headphones, occasionally they'll just say iPhone lost, iPhone connected. And during that time, the sound doesn't work.
Okay. Well, I'm
Cool
guessing you
story.
were asking me. That was a very cool story. Could you tell it again? Uh, I'm guessing you were asking me what else I was working on.
I was some smart comment about interrupting you.
Yeah.
I forget. Go ahead.
I mean, I usually interrupt you, so it all works out. So
Truth.
I finished the, I think I'd already finished the toe and cuff on my first sock. And then these are tube socks that were cranked on the Speedster knitting machine. We have a sock machine. Um,
Erlbacher Gearhart Speedster.
yep. And so I knit the toe, and on this one, I know I did that this week. And there's the ribbing, and then I also knit a heel in purple. And the plan is I have enough purple, I think, to crank a whole tube of this when I'm done with my heels. And then I'm going to put in stripy heels on the purple tube.
That's
I'm
cool.
very excited about it. And then I'll have 2 pairs of Halloween socks.
You can mismatch them for like
Yeah.
mismatch day at school.
Ooh, there's always a mismatch day at school. So the stripy is Kirby Werby, and then the purple is oh, they're from like Ohio. Plucky. Plucky knitter. I think they're from Ohio. Anyway. So yeah, boom. That's another work in progress. I'm hoping to finish those before the end of the month. And then the last thing I have on the needles are my socks that I started knitting in nomadic yarn on her sport base on size 1 needles. And it's called Bad Guy. So I got a couple rows in on this too. So yeah, I'm in a very green mood, a
It
very
looks
mint
very
green mood.
much like the Billie Eilish bad guy.
Yeah, that's what where it came from. The
Oh, I
name.
thought it was a rename of
Well, it's a rename of something else, but she
oh,
said she renamed
okay.
that because of.
Okay.
There
Because I
you
was
go.
gonna say something last week and I was like, that kind of looks like that Billie Eilish album.
Yeah, so that's why she renamed it that, because she renamed some of her colorways. Yep. So that is what I have on my needles. What do you have on your needles?
16, 17, 18.
Or hooks, or whatever you're crafting
I'm
with.
not crocheting right now. I am making some more socks for Kobe. So this is a tube that I cranked, and I think it's mustache, maybe. No, this is Desert Vista in the Candyland colorway. And I cranked several tubes to make socks for Kobe. This is one of them. So on one end, I've done the folded hem, and this is sort of an aftermarket folded hem. And I'm working on the heel. I've only got a couple more decreases to go. And then I'm going to need to figure out where to stop for the toe, pull it out. I'm probably going to have some left over, but not a lot. He has size 13 men's feet, so
Yeah.
his socks are quite large, but I think probably this is
Oh,
about
that's
here.
one tube, and then you have another tube, or is it all one
No,
long?
it's all one
Okay.
tube. So then this will
Okay.
start again. So it looks like I'll probably have about this much, like enough for me to do a shorty sock for me. But I was thinking I'll just hold on to all of, like the leftovers that I have and
Yeah.
do a couple of pairs of Franken socks or something.
Yeah, that'd be
Once
cool.
I gather up enough. But yeah, so I'm working on that. I always use a 2.25 millimeter needle when I'm working on socks for fingering weight. And the other thing that I am working on is somewhere.
Is it somewhere over the rainbow?
I mean, it might as well be because I don't know. Oh, there it is. It's my very fancy bag.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
I was running late to record because
You were.
I was still working, and at the
I
end of the
was
day,
timing her too.
I was at the end of the day on Wednesday. We have this meeting that's just like a BS meeting between our team where everybody just talks about what they're doing in their personal life, which is fine, except it can run and run and run. Also, the more of those I have, the more I realize I don't know my coworkers at all. I don't really recommend it.
I mean, no one's going like full out Dexter or anything.
No, it's not that. It's like, how sometimes big events take place and you're like, how could this many people want this thing? And it's so different from your worldview.
Yeah.
The more of these meetings I have, I'm like, oh, they're these people. That's fine. And that's not necessarily bad. It's just that it's so different from what I, see and what I feel. And anyway, so I'm knitting on a brioche sweater. It's called the Petra brioche sweater.
Look at that. That's super cute.
It's knit out of Volmisa DK in the My Old Blue Jeans colorway. Sort of a navy color.
Yeah.
I've got one more set of increases in the sleeves. So this is the raglan line. So this will go here and then on the back side. I've got one more set of increases to do, which is actually 8 rows total.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to split for the sleeve. So I'm getting close.
Wow, you are getting close because you just started that last week.
Yeah, brioche is very stretchy and the texture just makes me happy. And I needed something that I didn't have to decide, like a big time investment project. This is DK weight, and most of the sweaters that I'm finding that I really wear here in Mississippi are lightweight, like fingering or sport at most weight sweaters. I don't tend to wear the heavier ones for more than 20 minutes at a time because I radiate heat. I get hot too quickly. So and as much as I would like to believe that's menopause and I'll be done with periods soon, it's been that way forever. So unfortunately, I can't even look forward to that. Not anytime soon, anyway. But yeah, that's it. I have a little so I finished the cowl that I was using the fully spun for, but it's still hanging up outside to dry, even though it's cold, it's still dry.
It's raining
outside.
too.
Oh, it hasn't been all day here.
Oh.
But I did do
totally. I'm like looking outside. I'm like,
I mean, we live like 5 miles apart, but whatever. If it's raining, then I'll bring it inside. I did some visible mending because this hoodie that I've had for
your favorite hoodie in the whole wide world,
probably almost 10 years, because I got it the second year of SSK, because that's when I got my first Nashville tattoo. And so it was starting to, some of the seams were starting to come apart. And I fixed a couple of the seams with my sewing machine, but then I forgot that there were other seams that needed to be fixed. And I was downstairs and I was like, well, I could go back upstairs or I could just sit my ass on this couch and do some visible mending. So that's what I did. So like the hoodie pockets, I just did some like sort of visible cross stitches.
Yeah.
And the same for at the top. I did some visible cross stitches. And then over here, I did some visible cross stitches and I just put the date like in January. And then I'd already had done some visible mending on this.
Yeah.
Back when I lived in New Jersey, because Buffy's nails scratched and tore it open. So this is old visible mending. So this is the second time I've mended this hoodie.
I know.
So
So I was feeling all warm, and it was because Pearl was standing right beside me, panting on me, and then she left, and I'm like, it got cold.
like somebody turned off the heat, the air stopped
Yeah.
blowing. I was so warm the other day, and I went and looked at my thermometer, thermostat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it was 79 in my house, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die! I'm melting." I had to turn the air conditioner on. It was so hot.
Yeah. So yesterday it was in the 70s in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Today it's 32.
Yeah.
Enjoy. So my sinuses all day have been acting up, and
Mm-hmm.
my boss's sinuses were also acting up. And then I was like, oh, I hope I don't have COVID, because that's like anytime I have a sore throat,
Mm-hmm.
that is immediately where I go.
I
But
mean, to be
it's just
fair,
weather change.
you're exposed every day, it seems like,
Yeah.
and you have to interact with kids every single day. So it is a fair assumption.
I mean, I had 160 come through the library to pick up devices today. So yeah, my Germix got good work. But then there's like another Germix recall.
Oh, why is it being recalled?
It's well, it's not the brand Germix. Let me back up. There's a hand sanitizer recall. It's some hand sanitizer from Mexico, and it's got something that your skin will absorb that it should not be absorbing. That's harmful to
So
you.
it's some sort of toxic something. Not
Yeah.
toxic necessarily, but harmful.
Methanol, maybe?
Ethanol?
Methanol, maybe,
Oh,
with an M. I don't know.
I have no
I
idea.
was reading about it on CNN, but again, like my brain is like, oh my gosh, we have to check all the hand sanitizers because I don't want to be poisoning my students or
Yeah.
myself. So, welcome to my brain during a pandemic.
I'm so wary of hand sanitizers now because, you know, I had some medical stuff happen in October, November, or like September, October of last year. And so there was a period of a few weeks where I was going to the doctor, and then I had to go to the hospital for a minor surgery. And like, so I was constantly in and out of doctor's offices and getting COVID tested and all that. And the hand sanitizers before the pandemic, it was always the same sort of gel like
Yeah.
substance that you would rub
Oh no,
in.
it's the spray.
And now it's like it can be anything. It can be a liquid, it can be like spray, it can be this like weird, like terrible smelling stuff that like smells like drinking alcohol, like terrible vodka or something. So now I'm so like wary that I just bring my own everywhere.
I have so much hand sanitizer right
You
now.
do. You
And
have an
all.
obscene amount of hand sanitizer.
It travels with me though too. I have carts where I take stuff into rooms, and so I have
Mm-hmm.
one on each cart because anytime I touch like a door handle. Anyway, welcome to my brain,
I
y'all.
mean, this is why you don't have COVID, so that's good.
Well, fingers crossed, knock on wood. Um I do have a scratchy voice today, so it's fine. No, I'm fine. And I don't mean to make light of the situation because it is a terrible situation, but sometimes you have to laugh
Or you'll
in
cry.
order to keep from crying. I finished something. Have
Go
we
for
talked
it.
about me enough lately? Because I
I
feel like
mean,
we haven't.
is there a bar that we could meet that would be there? I don't feel like there is.
We haven't hit it yet. I finished my the knitting on my wave of change pullover. I have not woven in the ends, but the knitting part, because there's 30 some of them, but the knitting part is done. And if it doesn't fit me, it's going to Leslie.
That's the way this
Um,
brioche sweater is. If it doesn't fit me, it'll go to Laura.
I mean, it's gonna fit me, but I don't know that I'll be, because I had to. So let me back up. I used Rowan cotton rope, which came in 50-gram balls, and each 50-gram ball was 63 yards. So I had like 819 yards, and the sweater in my size called for 790. Um, I don't know what happened. So, and it has long sleeves in real life. So I had to shorten both the length of the sweater and the sleeve length in order to make it work. I had approximately 1 yard left over. I
And this was
had this
after you
much.
ripped out the swatch.
Yeah, this is after ripping out the swatch too. So I had actually wound this. I had started to cast on with this yarn and then found a knot and cut it off and set it aside. And I used this to finish the bind off of the sleeve, of the second sleeve. So I had this much left. So I definitely used like 815 yards for sure. And I think it'll look cute.
Yeah.
But also, I want to like find someone local that I can pay with hand spun to weave in ends. Which makes me sound ridiculous. And I am well aware of how ridiculous
I mean, no,
that
there's
is.
some things that, like, I really, really hate cleaning bathrooms. I will pay someone good money to come and clean my bathroom while I sit on the sofa. Like,
I would
there's
just
some
rather
things,
spin or knit than weave
yeah.
in ends. Like this many ends. Also, I don't like cotton. And I find weaving in ends and bulky annoying. Um, This being said, do not volunteer to weave in my ends. Y'all are so sweet, and I know someone's gonna do it. It's fun. I'm gonna sit here and Zoom with some people and weave in the ends. It'll be fun.
Or
And
it'll
then
end up on her sofa near where I'm sitting, and the ends will magically get woven in.
I mean, it hasn't happened on the red sweater yet, but I keep hoping. That's why it keeps moving closer
I
and
didn't know that
closer to
that's
you.
why it was on your sofa. I thought you had
No,
more
I
than one
have
sewing
like
or something.
4 ends to weave in on that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it's done. I really, really like it. I would definitely knit this sweater again. I'm super happy that these 13 skeins are out of my stash.
Yeah.
And I would definitely knit this again. In fact, if I had like bulky wool in my stash in like 1,000 yards, I would definitely start it like probably tomorrow. But I knit it in 10 days. It was knit on size 9 needles. Of those 10 days, I only knit around 7. So it's very doable. Now, one of those days was an extra day off because it was Martin Luther King holiday. So I did have an extra day off in the last week. But yeah, it is a very doable knit in a week for sure. Even in this was the 50-inch size. So it's a bulky top down raglan. The only modification I really made, I mean, 2 modifications. I actually shortened the top part. So I know for raglan increases this line right here for me is around 9.5 inches.
So this is the
So that I
armhole
don't get,
depth.
yeah, it's like the raglan armhole depth. Um, but it called for deeper than that, and I don't like that. So I shortened that by increasing every row instead of every other row towards the end. And then so I changed my rate of increase on my raglans. That's like the real word for what I did. And then I had to shorten the sweater. So I did get 10 full repeats, but the ribbing at the bottom is supposed to be 10 rounds, and I only got 8. And the same with the sleeves. And the sleeves I only got 3. So it was enough because it's bulky. It's like
Mm-hmm.
an inch worth, but it's not the depth that it calls for. I also had to shorten the sleeves from full length sleeves to right not even 3/4, like
Elbow
um
length.
no, above the elbow length. So that's 63 yards I used 63 yards on each sleeve, and it did not go as far as I thought it was going to go. But that's fun. I think it'll be super cute over a dress, like in the summer or even like fall, spring. And
Yeah, I
it's
think it
like
would
an
be
olivey green.
like a button down. You could leave it mostly open, you know. You could have the
I don't
collar
wear
out.
button downs
Mm.
usually, but yeah. I have issues with if they close around my bust, then they are way too wide.
Yeah, the gapping. I have that same problem.
Oh, my headphones just cut off. Um, so I'm gonna do it live for the rest of the time. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, not nearly as well, but I can hear you.
Sorry. I forgot to charge my headphones.
Hmm.
And I talk to you too much. That's all there is.
Did you just plug them in?
No. I will. When you talk, when it's your turn to talk, I will. So that's it for me for finished objects. Okay, now I'm going to plug them in. Mama Leslie.
I mean, I feel like we would have the same problem tomorrow when we start doing our fail along.
Shh. Why is the Bose headphone cord, y'all are going to see the top of my head, why is it so small? Why is it not longer?
It's just a micro USB charger.
Yeah, but it's so short.
So use like the charger for your Kindle. It's the same charger.
Yeah, but I don't have that here. Look how I'm going to complain. Look at how short this cord is.
Why don't you plug it into your laptop to charge?
I will once I also can't fit cords in slots. Continue talking.
I mean, I don't. It's your turn because it's spinning, and I don't have any spinning to talk about.
No, you don't have any spinning.
No.
You don't have. Oh, you already talked about your finished projects. Well, you
Yeah.
kind of because you left it downstairs.
Yeah, I'll show it next week.
Hold on, let me plug this in. Oh my goodness, this is the most ridiculous thing ever.
I mean, I feel like you're the ridiculous one if we're being honest.
Why are you so hateful to me?
I'm just, you know, I'm just saying the truth. I'm just calling it like I see it.
That's fine.
I heard that unspoken word in there too.
Was it unspoken? I'm sorry. Would you like me to fix that? I've been long drawing bats from Knitspin Farm on my match list. So this is the first one. And I have a second one on there now. And so they're around 3 ounces each of various wool blends and sari silk usually. And sometimes sparkle. And then I'm going to ply them together. The other one's got mint green in it. And then I will have 6 ounces of long drawed bat goodness, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
So and I would like to get this done. So an unofficial goal for me this year is to spin, not necessarily the fiber that comes in from my club, but fiber from that manufacturer. So I get a bat from Knitspin Farm every month, except for the months that she is off. So this is my spinning of a bat from her for this month.
Doesn't necessarily have to be the bat that came in.
Yeah, because like it hasn't come for this month yet.
Right.
So because also the postal service is taking a little bit more time, which is fine. I can be patient. But because of that, there's no way I could get it done by the end. So yeah, and I have a surplus of bats from Joanna because I really like bats. I do.
Sure? I'm not certain you have any.
A bag of bats from Joanna from Knitspin Farm. For being honest. And so I pulled this one out and I pulled out one that would go with it. And so I'm hoping to get those done by the time I next see y'all, not by the time I next see Leslie, because I see her tomorrow and that would be very quickly. And then I finished the spotted circus alpaca.
Is this a stained glass window?
It is a gray stained glass merino and fire star in the tropical colorway. And so, and that's from Spotted Circus. And I like the gray. Like it's very subtle, but it's in there. So I'm hoping to apply this on the starling tonight. I have my acre Kate sitting right here. So these starling, this was spun on the starling, or the sparrow, I'm sorry. So the sparrow bobbins fit very nicely on the acre Kate.
Oh yeah, it's plenty of room.
Yeah, so I'm going to, I'm out of sparrow bobbins, so I need to apply on the starling. And I'm out of sparrow bobbins because what's on the sparrow right now is some fiber from Into the Worlds in the Mirepoix, Mirepoix colorway. And this was a 70-30 blend of Superwash BFL, which stands for Blue Face Luster, which is a nice, shiny but soft long wool. And then nylon. So this is going to be for socks. They might be sport weight socks. I'm dividing it to 3-ply, but I'm out of bobbins, so I only had one bobbin left, and I spun it there, and so now I need to ply the other ones so I have more bobbins. But this is what it looks like in the braid. And the nylon adds some sparkle, which is fun.
No, it should be Mirepoix. It's some kind of food.
Oh.
Mere onions, carrots, and celery together.
Okay.
Although there's purple in that.
I wonder, they do a lot of pop culture references. So, like, the new fiber that just came is a Schitt's Creek reference.
Well, this is something else.
Maybe there's some other kind of reference there. And then I did ply Leslie O'Neill. Do you remember the vintage Christmas bats that we got from, I don't know. I don't know where we got them from.
Yeah, it was somebody we hadn't seen. You found them on Instagram.
Lynn sent it to me, and she said, I'm ordering this. And I said, ooh, I want to order that too. It was someone in Canada. And so, look, there's that mint green right there.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
So, yeah, this is 150 yards of a 2-ply. I think the bats were only 3 ounces. So, maybe a little bit less. This is going to become a hat for me. It works for both Valentine's Day and Christmas. So,
you can make it work for whatever you want.
Combine it with something else in order to get enough yardage, because 150 yards is pretty small of like a sport weight. Maybe DK. I'll have to swatch with it a little bit. But I might have another bat from like Knit Spin Farm that I can spin up and then like stripe it. Or a gray or something like that. Or a solid red. That'd be fun. But yeah, so that's all my spinning. So I'd like to get the Into the World done and ply the other stuff by the end of the month, because I already did a Hello Yarn that I showed y'all last week. So my fiber clubs are Into the World, Hello Yarn, and then the Knit Spin Farm. But I always try to get at least a pound spun a month. So the Christmas bat I spun on Christmas Day. So it's been hanging out, but I needed bobbins. So I plied it.
Desperate times.
I know.
I don't know how you remember what things are.
Like, sell me 1,000 bobbins. If they did, I would never apply.
I mean, I don't know what the joy of hand spinning is if you don't end up with a finished product, but
this spinning itself.
I mean, you do you, boo.
I will. You're not the boss of me, Leslie O'Neill.
That is a fact.
I'm just going to call you by your full name all day today. What are you reading, friend?
I haven't read a lot this week, but I am still reading the Potentate of Atlanta series. I'm on the second one. I don't remember what it is. All this information is linked in our show notes, and our show notes are found on our website, which is TheKnitGIrlls, 3ls.com.
Hey, it says Shadow of Doubt in the show notes.
Well, that was the first book. I'm on the second one, but I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, and then I'm re-listening to the Kate Daniels series again.
Awesome.
I started it on Monday, and I'm on book 4 because I can listen half the day while I'm working.
Yeah.
And then at night while I'm sewing, or I've been cleaning in my knitting room, I spent like probably 6 hours over the last few days, like sorting and organizing and cleaning so that I can actually use this room instead of avoiding it.
I took an interesting class on being an organized spinner.
Yeah, you did.
By Alana Wilcox. And one of the things that really struck me, it was a good class. I mean, she and I I feel like a lot of people have very definite feelings and very intense feelings about stuff. And I have different feelings than her about stuff. I like my stuff.
Like Maria Kondoing, sort of like minimalism, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so my sister's going through a minimalistic phase, and she sent me a bunch of books that I should read, and I'm ignoring her.
Yeah,
because
I can see that being something Beck gets into.
yeah. So, but again, this is like to each their own. So I took
Right.
the class and there was some really, really good information specifically about presenting and saving samples. But also one thing that I really liked that she said is you can have a room that you store your stuff in, like a closet, or you can have a studio space, but it's very hard to have both. Like, there's
She's never been
elements
to your
that can
house.
overlap, but you need to decide what you want your space primarily to be.
I feel like she's never been to your house.
Also, to say that my stash is stored in a closet would be not true. It's
That would
pretty
be like
comfortable.
Cher from
Oh, Clueless.
Clueless's closet. Like
That
that
would be amazing.
maybe.
But she did she shared a lot of really good Google Forms and not forms, but Google Sheets that she uses to track. And actually over the summer I had gone through all my fiber and put it into a spreadsheet and labeled all my bins, which was something a friend had already told me about. Like, she labels her bins and puts it in a spreadsheet, and I really liked that idea. So I did that with my fiber over the summer, and then I found another bin earlier this week, and so I had to add that bin. But it was all hobbledehoy in that bin, so it was pretty easy to add.
Yeah.
Because when hobbledehoy announced that she was no longer going to be producing fiber,
Laura
and
decided she was going to pay her mortgage that month. And was
no,
like,
Maryland sheep of wool happened, I got quite a bit of her fiber. And also she had vended at SSK for a couple years.
oh yeah. She's
So
great. I like her. Her and her mom, Marigold
I like
Jen.
Jen and Liz. Liz is hobbledehoy and Jen is Marigold Jen. And both are retired from the fiber arts industry now.
But they're
Um,
lovely people.
yeah, they totally are. Liz went back and now she's teaching, I believe. And Jen wanted to spend more more time with grandkids, which I cannot blame her at all.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, okay, for me, for reading, because that was very off track and I don't, but yeah, the class was enjoyable and I learned some new, it got me thinking about some things. And I added those things to some of my goals for the year. So I am still listening to Alana Andrews' Diamond Fire, which is the shorter story that comes between Nevada and her sister's story.
Is this the one with the wedding?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where the tiara goes missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started listening to that, but I've been working with someone else in my space this week, and so I can't just put on headphones and
Yeah.
ignore them because that would be kind of rude. So I'm having to spend time with human beings.
It's the worst.
I know. So I haven't had time to like rock out to Lizzo or do other things like that. But I did get to one's a baby book and one's a picture book that I wanted to share. One of these I got as a not a birthday, as a shower gift for a friend. So this is the baby version of Young Gifted in Black, which there's a middle grade Young Gifted in Black, which is wonderful. So I knew that I would really like this. This is a board book. So this is going to her, and it's like, there are so many things I am and can be. You can be smart like Katherine Johnson. And it is like little um and it's different people. So lots of cool. And then at the very end, there's a mirror. Because there's
Aww.
for you. So I think it's really neat. It just came out, board book. So this is going in a baby shower gift with some other stuff. And then one of my classes at work is doing one of the English classes is doing a book novel study about the 1920s and specifically being Black during the 1920s. And so The Unspeakable came out, which is about the Tulsa Race Massacre. This is a picture book and it is gorgeous. Like, the illustrations are amazing. And it's a great way to introduce this topic and discuss what happened in that period in that town in Tulsa in the United States.
Yeah,
And
and I don't know if it's just this area or what. And I mean, we're making strides. We're definitely not there yet. But I had never heard of the Tulsa riots until until Watchmen came out last year, and I was like, "What? This happened?" And I went and did some research. I mean, you would think that something like that would be discussed,
so
but
it wasn't
no.
even discussed in Oklahoma. And actually, in the back material, it talks about how it was originally called a riot in order to keep people from being able to do insurance claims. So
Oh,
it's referred to as the Tulsa Race Massacre
yeah, it's what it
because
should
that
be.
is what
Yeah,
actually happened. So, I liked the fact that the back matter actually gives you more information and more
yeah,
things you can research and discuss. But we are huge at my school about using picture books to introduce new topics or topics that our students might not be familiar with. So I actually had one of my teachers, this was donated to my school library. I was mentioning this to him, and he was like, well, that's what I'm teaching on Thursday. So I'm taking this into him to use tomorrow. So very timely. And the illustrations, like I said, are incredible.
yeah.
They're very well done. And it is written and illustrated by the author is Carol Boston Weatherford, who did a gorgeous book that's also in my library called Voice of Freedom, the Fannie Lou Hamer story. Um, Voice of Freedom, Fannie Lou Hamer, Spirit of the Civil Rights Movement, which is absolutely gorgeous. And she grew up in Mississippi, I believe. Fannie Lou Hamer did. And then Floyd Cooper, the illustrator, has also done some really, really gorgeous stuff. So obviously by the illustrations. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited to add that to my collection. So thank you whoever donated it. Yeah, that was amazing. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for a picture book about that topic for sure. All right. I think that's it. Is there anything else that you have? Oh, I have been using my thread and maple notions
Oh,
organizer.
yeah, I have mine too.
And we actually have a giveaway, but I don't know if you have that
I
upstairs or
do.
downstairs.
Let me do this so I can see the screen because I had it covered. Yeah, so Thread and Maple is the sister company of Scrumptious Pearl Yarns in Canada. And they make like really fine
So y'all can see.
grade um, tools and accessories for crafters.
And so they sent us their notions clutch.
Yeah, so Laura got one
Good
that's like
to us.
kind of purple with reddish inside. Mine is black with green inside, but it's got a lot of cool features.
Yep, it's got a tapestry needle. There's a place right here where you can store circular needles. It's magnetic.
Yep, so my little stitch markers
Oh,
are
look at that.
holding on. It's got a little scissors pouch with
Yep.
scissors. All the stuff came inside of it. It's got a
Hmm.
little wood tape measure
The
in
tape measure was
here.
a little bit difficult to get out.
Yeah, the tape measure is not my favorite part of it, but it is sort of like a signature item for them because it's got their little logo on it.
Yeah.
Um,
And then tapestry needles at the very bottom. And then when you close it, there's a zipper, which would be great to keep.
like cords or
Yeah.
like tags. There's also each side is open, kind of like a binder, so you can
Yeah.
put stuff in the back. And it comes with a little cloth for you to buff out any
Yeah.
scratches that happen, which is cool. So yeah, they make really fine grade tools, and they reached out to us and decided. So we went through and we picked out something to give away.
Yeah, I want to order this for us.
So it comes in this big box. And they have lots of different interesting tools you should check out. It's thread and maple. And they're doing a discount code for our viewers. And it's TheKnitGIrlls with 3 L's. You get 10% off. And I got to open this container. I got to be smarter than the container.
Rope bowl is amazing.
Yeah. So rope bowls have sort of come into popularity in the past few years. This one is very large. It's got a little leather strap on the top, and then on the inside, it came with a couple of items. It's also got some little maple candy.
Oh, awesome.
And let me open these things so I can show you guys. So it comes with a little cable needle holder, a little leather pouch to keep them in, and also, I swear my fingers are not cooperating with my brain today. Here we go. Comes with little stitch marker holder. So,
aw, that's so cute.
yeah, so it's a little, and you can clip it.
Yeah.
So we've got stitch markers on the inside of there. But the best part of this,
yeah, I was like, I'm waiting for the magic. I'm waiting for the magic.
It's magnetic on the lid. So
yes.
This is your lid. And it's magnetic. So if you had scissors or stitch markers or whatever, you could stick them to the top here and not lose them, which I think is brilliant. And I'm shocked no one else has done it before. But these ladies are geniuses, so they totally deserve the credit for it. So we have to decide how we want to do the giveaway for this. So it also has a little set of scissors in there.
Oh, cute.
And yeah, so it's just.
Oh, it sticks. Oh, unless you shake it.
Yeah, unless you shake it like a dummy.
In which case it does not.
And then this is a little cable needle holder here. Or not cable needle, darning. Yeah.
Look at that.
So yeah. And I like that they've got the little illustrations too to show you. Yeah, it's really clever. So you get all this stuff.
Places according to the illustrations.
Yeah. So I'm going to put all this back in here. So we're going to have one winner.
Yeah.
To give away
this raffle copter on our show notes.
Okay. And how, like, do they just need to enter? Do they need to specifically say something?
Let's send them over to Thread and Maple.
Okay.
And have them pick out something that they really like from their website.
Yeah. So I will, we will be upfront. They did send us the Notions pouches, like we talked about. And this does, like, it's a really nice quality thing. So it's something that will last you forever.
But it also has a price to go with.
Yeah, there's a price that comes with handmade quality goods. So don't let the sticker shock shock you. But I thought the rope bows were pretty reasonable as well. And they have a lot of smaller, if you wanted to start with a smaller thing, you definitely could. But I thought, a lot of times people, when it comes to like birthdays or holidays, they'll be like, I have so much, what should I ask for? Like a really quality item that will last you forever is a good place to start. So on our website, TheKnitGIrlls.com, in the comments for this episode 517, there will be a way, there'll be an entry form. And in order to enter, you'll just tell us what your favorite item on the Thread and Maple site is. And we will pull the next time that we record, which will be next week, midweek sometime.
Yeah.
So the first week of February, 2021.
Yep.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited that somebody's. I really want the rope bowl, so I'm excited it's going to someone else.
We both need to go order rope bowls, and we have the discount code TheKnitGIrlls for 10% off.
Yep, for 10% off. anything on the site. So we're stoked about that. Um, Aside from that, I don't really have anything. It's the last week of January. I feel like we're already like 6 months into this year. Uh, and I want a nap.
I feel
So
like I'm 6 months into this week. Like, it's been a really long week at work.
I understand. I mean, my week hasn't been that bad, but I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, we're issuing one-to-one devices this week, so it's a little bit chaotic.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Well, you guys have a lovely weekend. And if you are not part of our Patreon events, then we will see you next week. And if you are part of our Patreon events, we'll see you in the next couple days.
all right, bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.